Bitcoin is nudging its all-time highs. It's going to break free. We have the halving coming up in a few weeks, and altcoin season is coming. There's going to be silly money to be made. But which altcoin to buy? How do you find those gems? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Got crypto? Got a hardware wallet to keep your crypto safe? Then you have to have one of these to keep your seed phrase safe. The Keystone tablet is fireproof, waterproof. You can use it to store 12-word, 18-word, 15-word, 24-word seed phrases. It comes with a full set of letters and everything you need to make sure that your seed phrase never gets destroyed or disappeared. Get one, get two, get three, have multiple copies. Use my affiliate link in the description below.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Hi, everybody, it's Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. At least that's the game in this call. I am joined by my good friend Amir Ness. We're going to be talking about how to find altcoin gems. Now, before I introduce him, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcement channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please come and support me on bit.ly/CryptoRich3Speak, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey, and bit.ly/CryptoRichRumble. Okay, hey Amir, how are you?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
I'm very well. Long time. Long
Ages,
time.
man. I hope you put the links in the videos, because there were like 4. You learned how to do this so quickly. It's like one of those used car salesmen, you know, like those commercials where it's like you say everything really fast at the end.
That's right. Your mortgage or home, maybe. You may lose your mortgage. You may lose your loan against it.
Individual rates may apply.
No, that's right. Do not invest in more than you to lose. Okay, yes, I will have the links in the description below, including the links to what you and I are going to talk about, because you and I have been involved in crypto for a few years now, and you have a new project, which I think is just perfectly timed for the bull market. We're not fully in. It's still early days. It is still early days.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, actually, and people might get a little bit disappointed that, you know, it's not fully starting. But that's going to be the pullback right before everything gets really hot. That's what I think. I mean, you know, you never know, obviously, but it's looking pretty good, man. I mean, it's looking really good.
Yes, and we're recording this at Sunday, 10th of March at 12:43 UK time. And do you want to have a look at the Bitcoin chart? Should we do that?
Yeah, you can do that. You bring it up. Yeah.
Here you go, Amir. And for people who don't know, you used to trade hedge funds and bonds and big money markets and stuff, right?
No, not really. Not hedge funds and bonds and stuff. But I used to trade. I'm good with technical analysis. And,
okay. Well, you were in the financial market or something.
I was. Yeah. I was.
And we used to do videos together, and we don't anymore because you're a very bad man, very busy. But
yeah, no, I stopped trading and kind of. Well, I'll tell my little story in a minute. But yeah.
Okay, so I'll do this. This is what I've been following. This is on the weekly Bitcoin on the weekly, and this is a big cup, and we haven't yet. And if it is,
that's the pullback that I'm talking about.
That's the pullback, which is a cup and handle, and this is a very bullish pattern. And it normally pulls back to about a third of the depth of the cup, which would take it to about $50,000. And you can see there was a lot of activity here, where 50,000 was support here and resistance here and resistance here. So if this plays out, we go back to 50,000 and then off to the races. And a cup and handle, it would be when it breaks after the pullback, it breaks that again. Yeah, it's already there actually. What is that? We're looking at 130,000 Bitcoin. If this cup and handle plays out, that's on the weekly. What do you say, Captain?
Look, I mean, you know, I don't really look at technical analysis for these things anymore, because the backdrop of what I believe to be this bull market is completely different than the last one, and also it's so much, the fundamentals are so much more strong compared to the technicals. And what I mean by that is, like, with all these ETFs, and all the inflows, you're now talking about like, it's almost like it's becoming a new asset class again. It is becoming a new asset class again because now it's really being open to everyone. And then the nature of Wall Street is like they have to get it and control the asset before they sell it to their clients. Like that's the kind of pecking order, so to speak, of what they're doing. So it's like we have one wave that's bullish, which is the institutions coming in. And then after the institutions come in, it's like they're going to open the doors up to, retail. And that's the other wave to come in. And that's why what I believe to be the bull market is going to last a lot longer and go a lot higher because it's not going to be contained by like technical analysis. It's going to be overwhelmed by inflows. And so that's what I think.
Okay, that's interesting. And then we also got to factor in the halving because on some days,
right. The ETF that takes it to 120, 130, just like that alone.
Yeah, but on some days the ETFs they're buying twice, like 1,000 or 900 to 1,000 Bitcoin a day. And as of April the 19th, around about then, the new stock coming online is going to be about 450.
Yeah,
a day. So they're buying more than there's going to be. So then you've got increasing demand, reducing supply, and hey, party on.
The halving is, like you can look at the charts. We don't have to do that, but the halving is, it's, I think I heard somebody was saying it's basically like a fundamental doubling of the price because the halving creates half of the rewards for the miners.
Yeah.
So the price has to double in order for the network to really sustain itself, basically.
Yes.
And it does that, but it doesn't do it right away. It's not like a cause and effect, an immediate cause and effect, and that's good actually because it gives everyone time to prepare to come in. I mean, like the reason why everybody, like crypto Twitter and the YouTubers and, just everybody who's been involved in crypto, they're all screaming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But, nobody else hears that. Everybody else is not really aware, yet of what's coming. And the halving it's just another factor that's going to put pressure on upwards Bitcoin price basically. But sorry, what I was saying is the good thing is that it gives people time to mobilize. Like if this moves too fast, it's like you can't catch it. It's like it's gone. And that's what I think a lot of people from traditional investments and traditional finance, it's hard for them to wrap their heads around it. It's like the price is going to move like very, very quickly, and it's not going to make sense because it's moving off of a different mechanism. It's not moving off of like a fundamental value and this and that. It's moving like over psychology and mass psychology and collective, greed and fear and all these other things. But there's also just so much capital that's coming in. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like a historical event, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would echo that because, my wife and I was like, oh, Bitcoin's dropped 5, 6, 7, 8% in a day. Oh, it's gone up 7% a day. It's nothing. It's nothing for us, right? But in the traditional market, if the stock market drops 1%, that's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. So I do get it. They've no idea. They've no idea. And there's money to be made with Bitcoin, but there's silly money to be made with altcoins. And I don't quite understand it. It's like if $1,000 goes into Bitcoin, somebody buys $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, that's really not going to move it very much. But if people buy $1,000 of an altcoin, the smaller the altcoin, then the more exponential the growth. I'm going to tell you something. I bought about $120 worth of Pepe coin.
That's right. I think you told me about that.
That's right. In April and May 2023, so not yet a year, right? I have 152 million Pepe coin.
Yeah. Right.
And it's now worth about $1,200.
Yeah.
And the altcoin season hasn't started. And
Yeah.
Pepe coin, I mean, it's a coin with a frog on its face instead of a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't gotten into the meme coins. I kind of have told myself I'm not going to do that, to keep some semblance of sense and
Sanity,
rationality.
that's right.
Yeah.
But the people who got into Pepe coin right at the beginning
Yeah.
and bought loads and loads and loads, for tiny, tiny amounts, they'd be rolling in it. So I think the trick is finding good quality altcoins, and I'm not saying Pepe coin is or isn't. It's an ERC20 token with a frog on its face, right? But finding good quality altcoins are going to stay the course, but
Yeah.
finding them before everybody else does.
Yeah. And also narratives. That's what's really driving the altcoin market. Is you have a lot of narratives coming into the market. There's the AI narrative, and then there's the RWA, like real world assets. And the thing is, it's like we had that narrative, like real world asset narrative. We had that a little bit in the last bull run, but it wasn't kind of codified. It wasn't coined as a term, right? But the whole purpose of the blockchain is that you can tokenize assets. But it's like now you have a guy like Larry Fink, coming out saying everything is going to get tokenized. And when a guy like that says everything's going to get tokenized, and they've already started, buying up Bitcoin, and they have the ETFs and everything. You look at these protocols now that are in place and that are being developed to basically tokenize all assets. And you realize that really what's happening is like, this is becoming the new stock market, so to speak. But it's becoming more than that. It's tokenizing all assets. So there are protocols, where, I don't know, you can buy and sell receivables of your business, of a business, small loans, everything, all kinds of physical assets. And then there's the merging between AI and RWA, and that's a whole new one. And then there's the GPU, there's the like NVIDIA protocols, where AI is going to grow at such an exponential rate that the hardware needed and the hash power, the processing power basically needed is so massive, and people can use the blockchain to tokenize ownership of the GPUs, but in a fractional way, so that it becomes a lot more efficient. So it's like if you're running some sort of AI process or AI equation, and you need, I don't know, whatever, like 100 GPUs to figure out what you need to figure out. With blockchain, you can go on to these protocols and buy that amount of processing power for the period of time that you need it. And then once you've done your equation and you get, what you need back, you're done. Well, only the blockchain allows that to happen. So smart contracts for things like GPU time are extremely efficient. And that's why they're growing. And that's why you're seeing all these protocols that are like NVIDIA partners. They're all popping up. They're popping up left and right. And it's like the new Google Cloud that's being built, basically, And these are incredible things that are happening, and they're happening right in front of our face. And their market caps are, of course, the more mature ones are like already at 100, 200 million. But there are others that I'm seeing at like 15, 20 million. And these are the ones that everybody's looking for, to kind of ride that wave and get the 10, 20x.
Okay. Now I've heard of the AI, narrative. I didn't know about the AI GPU NVIDIA smart contract narrative that you're talking about, or even about the RWA narrative, which suggests that we could be in, for people who are interested in, early into that, because there's also, just to recognize, there's the privacy cryptos, there's the meme coins, there's the DeFi, there's the gaming, there's the different forms of non-private money, which would include Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. I don't know what else. There's the exchange tokens like BNB and Huobi tokens. So there's loads and loads and loads. And you're talking about a new and emerging narrative. Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not that new. I mean, but it's new as it relates to this wave of the bull market. Like it's part of this coming bull market. And that's what I've kind of gotten involved in, is the altcoin market for reasons which on a personal level, but I guess I could share a little bit about my story, and what I'm doing if you want.
Yeah.
So long story short, as I started the mining farm like 4 or 5 years ago with Gabby, and that was great. And I started taking some of my money and investing it in alts, and I was really comfortable with trading and with the market at that time. And I was able to turn a small amount of money into like $500,000 basically, and then I put it all in Luna, and
I told you off.
I learned a real lesson.
Amir, what was the lesson?
Well, actually, to be honest, if I'm going to be, really honest and a bit vulnerable here, it's, at that period of my life, what I really realized is that I was just basically lusting after money. It was just like I couldn't get enough trades in. I was like, okay, now this and now that, and I really lost sight of, being human and looking at the other things in life and appreciating them. It was taking a toll on my mental health and my physical health. But I mean, I had to step away from that loss. I had to step away completely. And I think it was a blessing in disguise. And then, as I learned those lessons and kind of started to look at what was going on, I was
before you go into that, right? Because there's something I want to say, right? I want to amplify for people. So one is, nobody should put in more than they can afford to lose, right? Because there's no guarantees with anything. Perhaps with gold there might be, because gold has never gone to zero, and maybe one day silver will get a bid and move up, maybe, right, when they give up on the price suppression. But even with Bitcoin, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee with real estate. Governments, they're prone to regulatory capture or whatever it is, right? But the other thing that I think you didn't do that was unwise, that I don't recommend, is you didn't hedge. And it's important to hedge. If people are going to come into crypto, have some Bitcoin, have some of the other altcoins, the larger cap altcoins like Solana and ADA and ETH and Bitcoin Cash, whichever ones take your fancy. And then if you're going to play with little cryptos, the smaller they are, the riskier they are.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of a different view on that, which actually we'll bring it up when we talk about the kind of free alpha we're going to give away to your viewers today. But I do think you're absolutely right about the diversity or the do not concentrate everything in one place. That was a big lesson, obviously, and it hurt a lot. But with that said, I looked at what's going on and, obviously started seeing the market moving. And I had a very particular challenge, because it was like I understood the market. I was comfortable with everything, but I didn't have the capital to go back in. So what I really kind of was brainstorming, how am I going to do this? And so because I'm like, I sit in front of my desk and do hours of research, and it's like exciting for me. I don't know, I just have fun with it, but I love it. And the investigative side of research and these types of things, it's like I could do it for hours and hours. And so what I decided was, to put a portfolio, an info product, basically a portfolio together. And, with the limited capital I do have, I've invested, but now I'm kind of selling it as an info product. and creating kind of like a group or a club, so to speak, where a community where people can be in that community, ask questions, and basically adopt the portfolio, adjust it to their own risk profile, obviously, but all of the knowledge, experience, and hours of research that has gone into this, it's a shortcut for people who want to participate. And I have to say, I wouldn't be doing this if we weren't in this part of the cycle. Like, this is really a special time. It's like right before what I believe to be a bull market start, when retail isn't in, Wall Street is just getting in, so they're not even involved in the alts yet. The only people that are involved are like crypto Twitter and the crypto people from YouTube, and you can see their footprint everywhere, because you see stuff that doubles in a week or less, and so you have to understand that there's going to be volatility that you just have to accept, like that's inherent in what these alts do. But the type of value you can get is pretty crazy. I mean, and again, value here is not being judged on fundamental analysis the way you would look at a balance sheet and all that, right? It's different now. You're talking about protocols that are work off of a completely different metric.
Okay. So you've been doing all this research, digging into different projects. You've created a little portfolio of projects that you think are going to do really, really well. This is the time to get in, because we're at the if the bull run can be likened to a staircase going upwards,
yeah,
and then it reaches the peak, and then we go down the slide real fast.
Right? Yeah. That's going to come too at some point.
That's going to come. We're at the bottom step. We're at the bottom step of the bull run of stepping up. So you get in now, and then away we go, and then people can do what they.
And then you get the 90% drawdown.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
I'm going to share something with you. Right. April 2017, I bought 250,000 XVG. Right. 250,000 cost me $30.
Yeah, oh, that's crazy.
I did no research. Somebody just said, "Oh, this looks good." I thought $30, I'll throw it, right? So $250,000 for $30. April 2017. January 2018, it was worth $90,000.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't understand that's what is going to happen. But now there's narratives. There's a lot more that you can do as an investor to understand the potential, and maybe this is a good tie-in to giving away the alpha, and I can explain a little bit about like how I do the research and what I value when I find certain things. So because we don't want to keep this too long, right? Sure. I mean, otherwise people.
Sure, you're going to give away a free recommendation, and there's no guarantees, right? There's no guarantees.
No, and it's not financial advice and all that good stuff. But here's what I've an example of what I've done. So you have like the AI narrative, and everybody knows that that's a very hot narrative in the market. And so I spend a lot of time online, going and looking at different things, reading, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, let's just say, so I'm online, I'm looking at stuff, I'm on Twitter all the time, and there's nuggets of gold in Twitter if you know who to read, what to look for, and then how to do the due diligence on that. But for example, the other day I basically found somebody had mentioned a protocol that was involved in AI and real world assets. And, he said, and this is backed by Ben at Singularity. And I was like, okay, Ben Herzl, I think is his last name. He's like a pioneer of AI. Singularity was from way back when. They're still around, obviously, but they're an old school AI leader. And so I was like, okay, let me look at that. And I went on to their website, and if you want, we can do a share screen. So basically, I find Cogito. CGV is the ticker, and I'm like, well, let's look at it, let's read it, obviously. And it's basically, I'm familiar with the concept because it's RWA, it's real world assets, right? So they're tokenizing real world assets, and they're starting with a treasury fund and a green fund. But basically, like, this is what Larry Fink is talking about when he says everything is going to get tokenized. This is the idea, basically. And when you go, and you look at the team, so I don't know these guys, and but obviously these are people who are what they quote unquote doxed, right? It's not an anonymous group, and you can do research on them, and they've got their LinkedIn profiles and their Twitters. And here's Ben, and then the COO of Singularity is also involved with these guys, and so it's like, okay, that's like a big deal, basically. A guy like Ben, and they don't get involved in just random projects. So you have this kind of protocol now that's just starting out, but they're in a very, very hot space. And there's another group, there's another protocol called Ono, and Ono has a market cap of 500 million, doing the same exact thing that these guys are doing, right? And then I'm like, okay, so let's look at basically what would be the equivalent of the capital structure, the tokenomics, right? The token structure. And the first thing I look at is like, what's the market cap? And this just went live, and it's not like an IPO. People are like, an IPO is when the company exits, like that's when they've sold. So they're going to try to sell for as high as they can. And once the stock goes onto the market, the investment banks are handling everything, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, when it comes to, coins, like this coin just quote unquote went public. It's at a 2.5 million market cap. They're still building the community, everything. It's just getting started right now. Like, people don't even really know about this. So this will be, like a 10 million market cap in, I don't know, a few days, a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, it's still like nothing. It's still nothing. And people will begin to talk about it and pass it around on Twitter. And then, you'll get to like a 25 million market cap, and that's kind of where it stabilizes for a little while. And then as soon as there's any kind of news flow or any kind of attention that kind of gets it put on it, considering, you've got Singularity behind it in some shape or form, you've got Ben behind it, and the narrative is there. If the market starts to move, this will be a 50 million market cap in like a month. You know what I mean? And then it'll go from there. And it's like, the fundamental analysis is understanding the psychology and kind of price action of the alt market. And traditional investors don't know how to do that. They're not able to do that, and they don't have the tools or the experience to do it. And for somebody who doesn't, it's quite frightening. Like, how are you going to buy something that moved 150% in one day? Like, who's going to buy that? Nobody. But when you understand the market cap and that there's no visibility on this yet, and there will be in the next, week or two, and et cetera, then you understand that, like, this is nothing. The market cap is going to quadruple. And so that's what I do. That's the research. And of course, there's different risk levels, and the portfolio is kind of like a mix of, the larger alts, some of the larger alts, and some of the smaller ones like this. But it's all really like, there's a lot of attention being paid to like the narrative, who's involved, and what their peer group is. Like, the fact that I knew that there's Ono that's doing the same exact thing as these guys, and they're already at a 500 million market cap. That's automatically something that people are going to look at. They're going to look at I can buy this, or I can get involved in that. So anyway, that's the stuff that I do. And so your viewers get this one, and hopefully they'll view it early enough and be able to take a stab at it.
If people want to get some CGV, where would they get it from?
It's on PancakeSwap. So you need to get BNB, and you can use your MetaMask and get it. And I'm sure eventually it'll go on some of the other exchanges as well. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is one that you're giving away. You have others that you've also looked at. You've looked at the team. You've looked at the potential for the growth. You looked at the narrative, and you make no guarantees, but people can pay for this service once it launches. And right now, what they can do is they can join a forum where people are
Yeah.
discussing different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, you can't actually. My site is not up yet, so you
Yep.
can't even join the forum. We're going to do
Okay.
that next week together.
Yep.
But just stand by basically, and by next Sunday we'll do the show again, and
Sure.
then I'll have the site up, and they can log in, and yeah, it's a product. You join, you pay once. It's going to be like something where once you join the community, anything else that I get involved in or do research on, which I'm always doing, you'll get that free as part of the community. So yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. Amir, listen, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Have the links in the description below, although there aren't any links. So, but I do invite people to check this out. I shall be taking a look. And is there anything else you want to say before we finish up?
No, that's it. Next week we'll be back and we'll have some links. The site will be up.
Great, fabulous, fabulous. Comments, questions in the description below. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, but don't pass this opportunity by either. Between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits, crypto rich, and crypto Amir signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
See you guys.